Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm just going to be sharing some of the things I've noticed since we started living in Tennessee, just things that kind of are just new to me. I'm from Montana, and a decent sized city for the state of Montana, but in comparison to where we live now, which we basically live in Nashville, it's very different. So I've noticed a lot of just obviously big differences in the two, so I just thought I would share some of them with you. So yeah, if this is something that you want to see, then just keep watching. Okay, so I kind of compiled a list. A lot of them were things I noticed right away, and a few, like some other things I've just noticed as we've continued to live here. So I'll just kind of start at the top. They're not necessarily in order. They're just they're not in order of things I noticed first. They're just a random list I put together. Anyway, so we moved here in October, and it actually shocked me how much it snowed here, during the winter months. Everyone was saying it snowed a lot more than usual, and made jokes that I brought the snow with them, which I was not mad about because I love the snow. There was one day, which we also get snow days here, which is awesome. At the time, I guess I wasn't working yet, so I was just home anyways, but Blake got to be home too, which was awesome. Because in Montana, you don't get snow days. I remember getting 2 snow days growing up, ever, and it was only because the buses couldn't run. And it wasn't oh, no. That was my brother's case when he got a snow day. For me, it was because the power went out at the school, so they couldn't feed us lunch. That's why we got snow days. But not because the snow itself was bad, just because it knocked out the power. Anywho, so we get snow days here in Tennessee when it snows, which is awesome. Even if they think it's going to snow, most things just get shut down. But with the snow, I quickly noticed how much people don't know how to drive in the snow, and it made me not even want to leave our house, even though we, me being from Montana and Blake living in Montana for so long, we both obviously know how to drive in the snow. But I was like, I do not trust any of these yahoos around us to be able to drive in the snow, because a lot of people, even back in Montana, who if they're in the Air Force and they come, they have these big souped up trucks, and they think that means that they're invincible, and then they can't, ice and snow can't take them off the road, and it's not true. So I remember after one of the first snowstorms, I think maybe we went to the mall or something, and on the drive back, every quarter of a mile, it seemed like there was cars in the ditch, and there was one car that had smashed into a light pole, and the light pole was laying down. And I thought, wow, that you had to have been going pretty quick on a not clear road to knock down a light pole with your little car, but you did it. So yeah, that's just people just didn't know how to drive in the snow. Which brings me to the next point, which I've just noticed people suck at driving here, in my opinion. And I think it's because people are so aggressive here as a driver that they apparently don't think they have time to put their blinkers on, or they have to, they're just always in a rush. It seems like everyone has to get where they're going, and their time frame is way more important than anyone else's. And I almost got passed on an on-ramp. That's how crazy some of the people around here are. And I can't say it's Tennesseans, because we live in Nashville, which has become a very trendy place the past 5+ years to move to. So I can't say it's Tennesseans. It could be any transplants, basically. But just living in a city, I've noticed people are in such a rush all the time, and I don't understand it. You can just go speed limit and it's going to be okay. you don't have to get there 2 minutes faster. Like, nothing's going to change, really. Yeah, and we've noticed, I have personally noticed more in like the first month of living here. I saw more people run red lights than I had my entire life before then. And it's just gotten, like, I've just noticed it way more. People just run red lights all the time. It's so crazy to me. I don't understand it. And I have definitely seen more cars smashed into trees in people's front yards than ever before. And we live in a pretty busy street, but in just like a neighborhood. And just a couple weeks ago, there was like one car smashed into a huge tree in someone's yard, just like a couple houses up. And then another car that was like in the ditch. So it was like the same accident of somehow, but I was just like, how fast are you going and not paying attention that you're smashing into trees? It takes a lot of work to hop, get over the sidewalk and then smash into a tree, but they're doing it here and they're doing it really well. It's wild. All right, let's see, what else do I have? Okay, so those are like the negative things I've seen. Like, just kind of like so shocking to me from being like, in generally, like, everyone would call where I'm from a really small city compared to like Nashville. Like, I think like Nashville, the greater area of Nashville, I don't really know how they like change or like categorize the population, but I think it's like 1.6 million here roughly. Of like the Nashville area. I'm not even talking about like the greater area. But my hometown is like 60,000 people, give or take. Like maybe 70,000. So way, way, way smaller. So it's not that living here isn't like good or like it's all negative. It's just so different that I'm just constantly like kind of in a culture shock. Like having to adjust to like knowing around 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock is when traffic's really bad every evening, and knowing like if we have to go to the grocery store or something that it's going to take a lot longer than it really should. And yeah, just like things like that. But anyways, enough with like the negative things I've noticed, I guess. Some of the more positive things is that in a lot of ways, so we don't really go downtown a lot. It's way too crazy downtown for like our lifestyle. Like we'll go get breakfast or something downtown, or my family's here, we'll go do like the Nashville kind of stuff. Excuse me, but in general, we really don't go downtown too much. Got hiccups. So we're more north of Nashville in like Goodlettsville and Hendersonville areas where like Blake just knows a lot of people because this is where he grew up. So a lot of times it feels like a really big like small town, which is nice. Like there's been a lot of times where either at like Target or Kroger or something like that, and we see some of his family or old friends, stuff like that. So it does kind of feel nice to like run into people and not just feel like a stranger everywhere. And of course, like the longer we're here and like the more people we meet or like I'm introduced to, stuff like that, the more it will feel like a smaller town. So that's been kind of nice, just like not feeling like it's so big all the time. This is super random, and I noticed this right away. There are like actual firework like stores here, and not just like back home you get fireworks stands, like those little shacks that you just like a little trailer shack that comes and goes for 4th of July or maybe New Year's Eve, just like those times of years back home. But here there's like actual stores for fireworks. Like they're not cute, they're like, dang, I don't even have a photo, but like they're little, like they're still shacky, but they're actual buildings. But they're just there all the time. And then of course stands and like tents come up for actual, like, the 4th of July and stuff. And there was a bunch of those everywhere. Today's the 5th of July, so like it's still kind of out there and everything, but I was just so shocked to see actual firework stores here. And I said it to Blake. He was like, yeah, I guess there kind of are. I never really thought about it until, like, there's a lot of things that he doesn't notice because he's, I guess, used to them, or like they're not different to him, but they're so new to me. I'm like, this is so strange. There's actual fireworks stores here. So yeah, that was just kind of like a random thing that I've noticed. Okay, and then this last thing I've written down, which is kind of nice, like, Tennessee is a really small state, especially in comparison to Montana, where in Montana you could drive for 8 hours and still be in the same state. Here you can drive 8 hours and be in Florida. So, I mean, like, obviously you can go other directions too and be in different states, but like, so that's kind of nice. A set of Blake's grandparents lived down in Alabama, so for Thanksgiving, well, it was around Thanksgiving, we went down there for dinner. I think that was only like an hour and a half, maybe 2-hour drive, like nothing crazy at all. And then just north of us is Kentucky, so we've been to Kentucky. We went there like a couple weekends ago. I did a video when we went to like the Chaney's Dairy Barn or whatever it was called, and I think that was like maybe an hour away. So yeah, it's kind of nice. Like, there's other states that are really close that are easy for us to get to without it being like this huge like trip, I guess, or like a huge yeah, without being a huge trip. That's like the easiest way to describe it. I have on my side of the family some cousins that live in they live in Arkansas, generally around Little Rock, I believe. So I really want to see them soon. Ironically, they've been back home in Montana for like the past 2 weeks or something, but I would love to see them soon, and just hang out with them because I miss them so much. So yeah, it'd be good to see them. But anyways, what I'm saying is, like, it's just nice to like be around, well, new states for in general, and like being able to be so close to them and just experience new things. We haven't done it a whole lot, like with like, you know, work and life stuff. It's not easy to just like get away super quickly. And boy, the price of gas doesn't make it any more appealing to want to drive anywhere. But it's nice that like we can easily, you know, load up the car, take the dogs, get an Airbnb, and explore like a different state in a different city for a weekend or whatever, if we so desired. But yeah, those are a few of the things I've just noticed about Tennessee so far. It's definitely been different, but all of Blake's family, like his aunts and uncles, have been so sweet and so nice, and they're always just asking like how I'm, like, whenever we get together, they always ask how I'm adjusting to it. Anyways, yeah, so these are just a few things I've noticed. We are thinking about planning, like, we want to do it, we just haven't like really had the conversation of like what we want to do or go, but we're probably going to do some little, I don't really love the term baby moon, but I guess that's what you'd call it, just a little trip for the two of us. Probably do like a long weekend trip before our baby's born. We'll probably do it in like August or September, something around there. Blake really wants to go to the beach, so we'll probably be doing that, and then just kind of get ready for baby and everything, which will be so crazy. We're already over halfway there, so I just know like this next half is gonna fly by, and it's awesome. Oh, this is such another random thing I just thought about, because, and I only thought about this because we have these couches behind us, We are, gosh, okay, I'm still going. I thought I was almost done, but I'm not. So it's funny to me being in Montana, like, when we fly back to Montana to see my family and stuff, we have, like, generally, we've only gone twice. I've only gone twice so far. But, like, when my family comes to visit, they fly out of Bozeman, and I usually fly into Bozeman because it's less expensive. And that's about a 2-hour drive from where my family's from to here, which is nothing. Like, if you're in Montana, you're like, easy peasy, quick drive. Like, if you had to drive to Billings, it would be a little bit more of a hassle. Like, that's a 4-hour drive from back home. Something like maybe 3.5, 4 hours, something like that. But I think that would be more of a trek. But driving Great Falls to Bozeman, while it's not the most convenient as far as, like, you could fly into Great Falls, it's just less expensive to fly into Bozeman, so that's in or out of Bozeman, so that's what we do. So I'm not phased by, like, long drives. Like, when we went to Alabama and Blake was like, yeah, it'll be like 2 hours. I was like, nothing, like, easy. There's like, for work calls and stuff, they'll ask where our office is, and then they'll say where they're at, and they're like, oh, so we're like 40 minutes away, and I'm just so, it seems so long for them, but I'm like, it's just 40 minutes. So that's just something I've noticed that doesn't affect me, or like, I'm not, like, shocked by a time frame like that. I think I'm like, that's pretty reasonable. And I think it's just because Montana is so big and you're so used to driving so long for different things that driving 30 or 40 minutes isn't crazy to me. And I just thought about that because we went, like, there's just a few things that popped into my head. We wanted to get some new sofas, and we just looked on Facebook Marketplace. Excuse me, gosh, I have hiccups. And we found some in Franklin, which I believe that it was like a 30-minute drive for Blake and his dad when they went and picked him up. Like, some people would think anything past 15 minutes is, like, really, really far. And I was like, 30 minutes, like, that's nothing. So, yeah, that's just something I've kind of noticed. Like, people's perception of, like, far is just super different than mine. I have a hard time imagining people wanting to, like, pick us up from the airport if we were flying in a 2-hour difference from here, where for, like, my family, they'd be like, oh yeah, you're flying into Bozeman, we'll pick you up at 9 when your flight comes in, whatever that is, or, take you back to the airport and stuff like that too. So just something funny like that I've noticed. But what's also nice about, because there's so many little towns or cities, whatever you want to call them, that are just so bang, bang, bang close to each other, that you can be in a different town so quickly. But, like, the sofas that we got them down in Franklin, and that's a pretty nice area. So we knew we were going to get some pretty, like, quality sofas off the Facebook Marketplace for, like, dirty cheap, really. In, like, the grand scheme of things, we've got both of these for, like, less than $200, and they're huge. You can lay on them fully stretched out, and they're super comfortable. So that's just, like, another nice little bonus is how close you are to different little neighborhoods or cities, whatever you want to call them, and, like, just, like, the diversity within them, so you can just experience, like, different shops, different stores, different people really quickly without really having to, like, drive that far. Where back home, I mean, if you wanted to go to, like Helena was the next closest city to us, and that was an hour away. Or we went to Kalispell all the time, which was a 4-hour drive, but it was so much fun to, like, be in a different place. That, I mean, we went a lot, just, like, as a weekend getaway. So yeah, anyways, it's just nice to kind of have a similar thing, but they're a little bit closer, so it's not, like, as far of a drive. In my opinion, other people would be like, I'm not going to Franklin, that's 40 minutes away. I'm like, that's less than it would take me to get to Helena, so it's not bad at all. All right, anyways, I have talked way longer than I anticipated, but I hope you liked my little insight on the things I've noticed about Tennessee and just kind of comparing it back and forth. If you liked this video, please like and please subscribe. It means more to me than you even know. Yeah, and if you have any other similarities, like if you've moved from one state to another and noticed differences, just share them below, because I love to like connect and like see other people's experiences. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.